If you're surrounded by people and you still feel alone, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to do it, how to go about it, what you need to understand about this, and how to make the most of the time you spend alone or the time you're forced to be alone throughout the day. Basically, we're going to go over some points like the self-reliance, how to cultivate friends, take time out on purpose and reflect, lock in, and never run away from yourself. We're gonna go over these points, right? And also what to do when reflecting. That's a part from number 3, take time out on purpose. So the only problem what you need to understand about the fact that you feel loneliness and yet you're still surrounded by people is because you're not decided to lock in, right? As I have it in my notes. You're not fully committed, and that's the only problem. This is what you need to understand. As soon as you commit yourself to locking in and working on yourself, that's when you become a new individual. This is how you create a new life. This is how you become a better version of yourself in the same body. Because people have nothing to do. You see, people are outside of you. And the reason you have the conflict of not being okay with yourself is because you've been conditioned to rely on the outside. And so the friction you have when you sit alone with yourself is because we, our society, are conditioned to take stuff from outside. When your car breaks down, you go to the mechanic. When you need to see a dentist, you see a dentist. When you need to buy shoes, you go to the store to buy shoes. But when it comes about love, where do you go? You need to look outside of you. This is how society perpetuates love. But nobody's gonna ask you to start from within with everything, right? Especially when we're talking about the internal desires and being self-sufficient and self-reliant and to be at peace with yourself. Because society wants you to be dependent. And this has started all the way back from schools, right? This is what you need to understand. And if you've been conditioned by the society to look for stuff outside yourself, now you woke up, right? You want some things and it's hard to get because you're reliant on other people to get them. For example, self-acceptance, self-love, self-reliance, the ability to be okay and at peace with yourself, self-forgiveness, and so many other more things. And the reason you feel loneliness is because now you've encountered the problem when the expectation to get something outside of you is not met. And this is how you come to wake up from this illusion. And it's good because you've awoken now. Because so many people go through life without even dreaming, without even being aware of this thing being possible. The fact that they can be self-reliant on their own without needing anything from outside. And now that you see the obstacle for what it was, you will need to pay close attention to how you conduct yourself from now on. As you're gonna see, we're gonna notice some stuff, right? The illusion you live in, the habits, and question your beliefs and the evidence supporting those beliefs. We're gonna find out how to change those beliefs. Now, the number one reason, as I said, you feel lonely is because you're not decided to lock in. Locking in, for me at least, it means doing the hard thing despite your emotions and your feelings, regardless of how it feels, right? And that means leaving some people behind. Those people that just fill up your space, right? Your social circle. The people you hang out with that just waste your time. We all have those people. And sadly, we make time for them. But the rewards are not at the same level we expected, right? Because we have some expectation. There is on the other side a fake exchange of energy and some other form of transfer, right? There is a synergy in there. There's like a loop, a self-reinforcing loop. But we need to close that as soon as we lock in, as you're gonna see in a minute. And we jump on point number 1, self-reliance. The moment you decide to lock in, that is to work on yourself, your whole mindset will change because you become a different person in the same body. Now you have a reason to spend time alone. You need to think about this because the reason you're not who you want to be is because you haven't got enough reasons. Find something painful and use that as fuel. This is what locking in means for me. And so what self-reliance means, at least for me, is that you will need to cultivate a sense of justice and the fact that you don't lie to yourself and you're constantly prepared to be disliked, to be rejected, and to be okay with that. That's what self-reliance means for me. Because if you cultivate these traits of being disliked and being okay with people saying no to you, it means that you've reached a level of responsibility and maturity for your actions and for your deeds. Then you're willing to take a no in the pursuit of your dream or your goal, right? And it's part of the locking in mechanism. You need to clearly have this in mind, locking in. We're gonna get to that in a minute. And with this, a priority when being self-reliant is to always have a backup plan. This backup plan must be your plan A, not your plan B, right? It's part of your main plan to have a backup plan, remember. To be self-reliant is hard, but it's not impossible. By the way, please read Emerson's essay on self-reliance. To constantly have a backup plan, you will need to monitor the way you feel, the way you conduct yourself, and be okay with that. If that's your foundation, the backup plan must be built on this foundation. A backup plan is built for the worst case scenario. If you're building backup plans for the worst case scenario, don't tell anyone, because not many people are willing to see reality with goods and bads. They only want to see the good. And of course, this is an illusion. You will have to be prepared for everything, especially mentally, not just physically and financially. People just drift through life like they're gonna live forever, just like young kids. But you're not gonna live forever. If you just simply look around you, you'll see people dying left and right. Soon will be your turn. You will have to be okay with this, right? To be at peace, be rational. It's part of the process of being okay with yourself. This is what society doesn't want you to know. Doesn't want you to leave, doesn't want you to understand the fact that your time is running out and you simply are a dead man walking. So your backup plan must be done between you and yourself. You don't have to make it public. You must be the one who believes in it. You must be the one to adapt and adjust it. Now, here are some notes about self-reliance and what you need to know, what you need to live by. Trust yourself fully. Not halfway or just when it's convenient. Even when your ideas contradict what you said yesterday. Because growth naturally looks like contradiction from the outside. Society is a force that rewards obedience and punishes individuality. The more you try to fit in, the more you dilute who you are. So be careful here, brother. Great individuals ignore approval. You must do this because you can't betray your own truth and thinking. Action comes from inner conviction, no external approval. If you need validation before acting, you'll always hesitate. Self-reliance removes that dependency. Your life should be original. Don't copy ideas, lifestyle, beliefs. Instead, develop them, originate them. Because copying is a rejection of your own potential, and you move based on what you know internally, then adjust through action. Because if you don't trust your own voice, you will spend your whole life trusting other people's ideas. Number 2, how to cultivate friends. Here, on this point, you will need to understand that you need to cultivate brothers. How do you cultivate them? You will need to install a filter with everyone around you. What's this filter? The filter is being yourself. You cannot make anyone like you for something you're not. The people you look for will like you, right? So the filter is being yourself. You can't be somebody else you're not, because you will have to be yourself, brother. The microphone decided to do this mid-set. I'm sorry, but you will have to take this. And if this is what happens, this is what you get. Right, I'm ready and I'm back again. As I said, the filter must be yourself. Why is it the best filter? Because when you stop pretending, you stop being careful on what to say, how to say it, what picture to take, how to post, what to post, how you interact with them, how you engage with them. When you're careful with all these things, that's not a true brotherhood. Have you noticed there is a different dynamic in your family than with your friends? That's what you want to achieve. You need to achieve the level of brotherhood, of trust and respect and reliance of one another. That guarantees you growth, that guarantees you safety, that guarantees you respect and well-being, right? So that's what you aim for. So being alone with all these friends, you need to be yourself when you try to attract other people. In the end, the best way to attract and keep those brothers is to be yourself. Who's gonna like you is gonna like you for who you are, for your hobbies, for your passions, for the bad sides, for the good sides. But make sure you like them in return, but like them genuinely if you like them. If not, they will immediately fly. If you don't like them, they will feel it and they will go away simply. Because you want somebody like you, or somebody who's gonna compliment you, somebody you vibe with. Look for that in the small things. An interaction should never take away energy. An interaction should give you energy. Write that down. And based on this criteria, you develop yourself a true friendship, a true brotherhood, right? With other words, you don't want surface friendships, bro. You don't want surface friendships. Your time is too limited to waste it on other people or some other people's agenda. So wake up, assess your time, and see where you stand compared to what I've said. And if you look at yourself and see you need some improvement, then start activating the filter and using the criteria. Be yourself and see if the energy multiplies or subtracts. Let this be your GPS with people from now on. Next, we have point number 3. Take time out and reflect. Now, what should you reflect on? I'll tell you something. If you really pay attention to what I'm gonna say, so how you should do these things, bro, believe me, the level of your awareness will go up. You're gonna look at yourself and see immediately where you go wrong and how can you do better. And this alone will increase your standard, will refine in the end the relationship with yourself. Now, when reflecting, some people like to use a journal, or they just simply write on a computer. You write down your observations. Here is what to notice: the illusion you live in, the habits you have, and you have to question your beliefs and find the evidence supporting those beliefs. Let's take them one by one. When reflecting, you need to notice the illusion you live in. As people, we often come up with stories just so we can make sense of something we don't understand. Pay close attention to this. You're doing it. You're lying to yourself. The catch here is that you'll have to be honest when you do this. So take your pad and your pen and write down, how do you think you lie to yourself? But please consider all the aspects, even the aspects you don't even think about considering, like pleasing other people or trying to work less than you paid for in your business, even running away from customers, running away from yourself. Look at all these things and look and notice, what are you actually running away from? What's the hidden benefit for the bad thing you know you're doing? So take this question and examine every aspect of your life. Notice the illusion you live in. And you will be doing this when you reflect, because most people are not doing it. People can't even sit a minute alone, bro. They want to fill in that gap with something. Chatting with people, calling other people, walking the dog, just anything, so they can stay away from being alone. But that's a mistake, as you will see at point number 5. Never run away from yourself. Next, we have your habits. Here, you want to look at yourself as a stranger would and analyze your habits. Now that we know how you lie to yourself, we want to see what you do around those things, or even separate of those things. We want to look at your habits and the hidden value you take from them, and especially from the habits that don't serve you. And so what you'll need to ask yourself is what you need to change to become a new person, to become the man you want. Because the habits are things that you do unconsciously on autopilot. Your habits don't require effort anymore. So you will have to look at that. See what stops you, see what doesn't serve you, and take a closer look and be cold when you do it, right? Because this is the only way you grow. And please don't resist something you will have to change and you know is not good for you. Don't resist, just simply go through the pain. It's part of discipline, it's part of nature, it's part of growth. You need to let go of the older version of yourself. And so please do it. Watch your habits closely because they form the future you. Next, we have question your beliefs, and you will have to find supporting evidence for those. A belief is a decision you took based on the information you had in the past. Some of them are not serving you anymore. If you look closely at what you do, at your habits, and how you lie to yourself, you will see the supporting beliefs that reinforce that behavior. And this can easily be seen. You look at what you do, because that's what you believe unconsciously. If you think you have to dig layers of beliefs, it can be wrong to think so. You can easily spot your beliefs by looking at yourself and what you do. That's a clear indication of what you believe about something. So if you want to change something you don't like, you will have to destroy that something by finding contrary evidence to it. For example, you used to go to the gym, but you gave up. Remind yourself that you were the type of person that used to go to the gym, which means you still are, and you can go to the gym because you are. Why? You've been in the past. So you already are that person. You just have to do it now. But you'll have to repeat this evidence until your brain picks up. And then you go to the gym and you keep seeing yourself, the guy or the girl who goes to the gym, and use that as supporting evidence for the identity you once were, which you still are. But in this case, you need to reinforce the identity until it establishes itself properly. And so question everything that doesn't serve you. Every belief, every behavior, to be more precise, because that's how a belief expresses. Next point, we have lock in. Here, you'll need to lock in, find the reason you want to lock in, ask yourself how badly do you want it after you become clear on what you want, and you simply close the door in everybody's face. You lock in. You simply lock in. Just have access to a few people and that's it. You will have to work. What you need to work on is this: your body, your business, and your mind. With other words, you need to go to the gym, you need to make content or listings, and you will have to meditate, and also reflection. You will have to analyze yourself. At the gym, you will need to start slowly if you're not experienced, and just take it slowly. Go in there, find some guys along the time, but make sure you spend as much time as possible in the gym. And make sure, at first I'm saying, make sure you lift the lightest of weights so you don't get discouraged. And you want to do this because as a man, your duty is to have a strong body, to make money, and to have a solid state, a solid mind, capable of taking decisions and accepting responsibility, right? But that comes from your power, from within. You can cultivate that. Start slowly, but work at yourself. Work your values as a man because you pay rent on everything. So why not accepting this game and make the most of it? Pay the highest possible rent for the very things you want. That's what I'm saying. And so if you think about what we've just discussed, you will realize that when you reflect, I said you reflect on your habits, you will have to take stock of what habits are building your body, your business, and your mind. Take stock of these, form these habits, start implementing them. And if you have them, take them to the next level. And lastly, on this point, yeah, man, you'll need to lock in. Seriously, it's the very step you need when you want to create something meaningful, like writing a book, developing yourself, taking a course, building a business, improving your mental health, and also working out and training. There are times where you will have to lock in, You don't need to explain to anybody what you're doing, why you're doing it. You are a man. You need to work your values. You cannot rely on other people. You cannot rely on other people too much. You'll have to rely on yourself. So cultivate these habits. And if you want to cultivate these habits properly, understand your hidden reasons. Because within you, there are multiple personalities. So understand yourself. See what each and every part of you wants and deliver that from the things you want most. Not from video games, not from illusions, but from what you want most. Watch my video on how to gamify life, by the way, on how to do this and how to transmute confidence from art into business or gym. Even discipline can be transmuted, right? So cultivate your values, work on these things, and you will become a better version. But in order to do this properly, you will have to pause. And pausing means being alone for a time. For a while, until you see who you truly are and you start working from there. You start building on that foundation. This is how some of the greatest people in history have built themselves up. You will have to replicate their results, but their results are just the effects. You need to cultivate the cause, and the cause can be being alone. I'm not trying to sound absolute because what works for somebody might not work for somebody else, as simple as that. Point number 5, never run away from yourself. Here, you will need to cultivate a sense of purpose, a mission in life. And also you will have to cultivate a connection to the greater whole, to the universe. So develop something, develop a life, have a lifestyle, have your own things, develop a signature, don't copy other people, and never run away from yourself. Be alone, but be good. Be okay with this, I'm saying. Create yourself a mission, and remember, your life purpose will change from time to time. You will not be the same. You are growing, and when you grow, your desires, your purposes, your wants will grow as well. And growth means change, can mean creative destruction as well. So be mindful because you're not static. You're very flexible, especially with your mind. So you have nowhere to run away from yourself. You will take yourself wherever you go. So try to understand yourself and become so flexible. Become an actor. Take many roles. Be like water. Don't resist people. Don't resist situations. And most importantly, don't resist yourself. That is, you'll have to take yourself with good and bads. And you do this because if you look around you, not many people do it. Because if they would fucking live at their highest potential. But they're not. They're sleeping. Don't sleep. Don't run away from yourself. Accept yourself. Forgive yourself. Give yourself a new chance. This is how you change. This is how you change others after that. There's no way around it. You will have to start with accepting yourself. If you start from there, it will take you a long way. You'll get to have a ripe age of 80, 90. 100 even, 110, 20, and you will look back at these moments where you took the best decisions to never run away from yourself and became self-reliant and cultivated the brotherhoods you had and cultivated your connection with God and to the whole. You can now transcend peacefully, knowing you did your best and you've never lived in an illusion, but rather closer to the higher self, closer to the powerful individual you are. And this is reliving. But before that time, cultivate your mission, cultivate your purpose. Do something now and you will see it change. Start working on your passion. Start working on something that can serve other people. Do something. Do anything. Always be active. Always do something. You will be with yourself. Trust yourself because you're the only person you have. And if you take this information and you do nothing with it, what are you going to do after that? Just repeat the same year after year? There must be something more to life. Think about that. What is it? I'll let you answer that question. What is it? What's for your life? Now that you have an answer for that question, assuming you've paused the video, you will need to understand that you are never alone. You will never be alone. There is something within you that speaks to you all the time. You will just have to get quiet. When I said the habit that is going to cultivate your mind, meditation, you will have to start meditating. You will have to start asking this power, questions so it can give you back the answers. And this, if you do this properly, if you read the master key system, by the way, is going to teach you how to do it properly, you'll become a whole new person, bro. You'll need to listen to this intuition. It will never fail you. It's the only thing you can trust and rely upon when taking difficult decisions or difficult choices. So you'll have to start cultivating the intuition to start living in the light. So I hope now you've seen that you'll have to become somebody to be okay with yourself. You don't need other people. You just need yourself. You need your own company. You don't need animals. You don't need objects. You just need yourself in mind, and those will come in your reality because you become first, and then you do and have after that. But if you want to do this properly, you'll have to cultivate that state, that energy that attracts. You can never alter the events and the outside objects to correspond to who you are. Who you are will take care of those things automatically for you. So be more at ease, be at peace with yourself, and be like water. Just cultivate this sense of confidence and you'll see things change. Your whole life will improve. As soon as you do this, you will attract the optimal experiences in your life, the optimal objects, the optimal items, the optimal people, and the optimal relationships and everything. The very best conditions you don't even think about. So start living from within. Don't run away from yourself. Be okay with yourself. In fact, take time on your own. Go out, drink coffee, spend time in solitude. Sit in the sun, read a book somewhere, make music, compose, write, make videos. You don't have to be all the time with people or connected to people. No, bro. You'll have to develop yourself. And one more thing before we close. Older people have just a few friends. The older you get, the more selective you become. The higher at the top you are, the lonelier you are. The more money you will have, the more status you will have, the more filters you will have. The more status you will have, the more yourself will become with people because you want to reject them, right? You don't want to impress anyone. And this in turn will keep next to you the right people. So cultivate status in real world and you will see how easily it is to filter people away. You will develop the sixth sense when you talk to people. And when you have this sense, you can never be alone. You have yourself, the person that never lies to themselves. This is the position you need to reach. Non-conformity, listening to yourself, not being delusional either though, being empathic with other people, and building yourself. If you do these, you will be at peace with yourself. Until next time, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Marius.